Have you ever noticed romantic movies, books, they all end the same way? The couple gets together, and that is the end. But that is not the end. That is actually the beginning. Hi, I'm Scarlett Classic, and welcome to Classic Advice, a mental health podcast offering guidance for resilient souls, anchoring calm amid the chaos. We seem to be conditioned to believe that love equals easy. Love equals no conflict. And quote unquote, the right person equals no fights, unquote. We are sold this idea of happily ever after without the reality of what comes next. As someone who grew up in the Western culture and Disney movies, and I mean, not even Disney movies, it's just all across the board, all romance novels and books, they all do the same thing. The story is the people getting together, but that's just the beginning. That's just the start. And it drives me nuts. The danger of that belief that once you get together that you won't fight or that you shouldn't fight is just plain wrong. And it's not realistic at all. I don't think in all of human history that there has not been a single couple or a single pair of friends that hasn't had at one point of time in their life or relationship where they had a fight. And this idea that when conflicts happen, when disagreements come up, when arguments come up, when different views on things come up, that there's something wrong, or that that feeling of I'm not enough for this person, that this person is never going to love me just the way that I am because we keep bumping heads. We seem to keep fighting over and over again. And then we come to the conclusion that this relationship must not be right. And sometimes we end relationships because of conflicts. And I'm not saying that no matter what, stick together. There needs to be healthy boundaries. And if the relationship is toxic, or if the person is toxic and not treating you right and lovingly, then yes, there are some exceptions where you need to part ways. But if you are both willing to confront the problem and work through it, it's just this idea that you're never going to have arguments. And then when arguments or conflicts arise, that you get this idea in your head that it's about you and that you're not enough. That spiral down of self-doubt, of your insecurities, because we all have them. Every single person on this planet, I dare to say, has things that we can improve on for our mental health. We all have insecurities. We all have doubts. We all have times when we want to withdraw from things because conflict is uncomfortable. And then to the extreme, sometimes we end relationships based on this. And not just romantic relationships, friendships too. Because we can't deal with the conflict in a healthy way. And that spiral down just keeps going down. And one argument can turn into questioning your entire worth. The entire way that you see yourself. The entire way that your self-esteem takes such an incredibly hard hit that you think you're not enough. And so you might as well just call it in. Throw in the towel. Call it quits. And if you've done that enough times, if you have tried relationships and every single time, because you have this idea of happily ever after and that couples shouldn't fight, or that they shouldn't fight this much or this often over maybe trivial things, that you just can't seem to find balance and you can't seem to work it out because you have this idea that it shouldn't be happening at all. Arguments shouldn't be happening at all. And then so when they do come up, you just, that spiral, and then you throw in the towel and you're like, whatever. That withdrawal stage where you just like, I guess I'll just, only have these two friends over here or this one friend over here, or maybe you get really lonely and you don't have any friends because you just can't stand the conflict that much, or you just figure I'll just stay single the rest of my life because I can't seem to be in a relationship. I must not be the right kind of person that can do it. And sometimes it can stem from this whole idea of happily ever after that I want to debunk today. It's not realistic. It is not realistic to think that you will never have a disagreement, an argument, or a conflict with your partner or your friend. And I know that maybe to some of you this seems very, very obvious, but I had this idea in my head for years. And then anytime an argument or disagreement came up, oh man, I was a mess. Because I had this idea that we shouldn't even be having any argument at all. When I first got together with my husband now, Roy, one of the things that he would tell me is it's healthy for us to have arguments when we would have a disagreement on something. And he would also say, we just need to figure this out. We will get through this too. We always do. We will get through this too. And for someone that has the issues that I have with this idea of happily ever after is so incredibly wonderful to hear. Because when he says those things to me, it's like a wave of acceptance and I love you still. We will work this out. Just because we're having an argument does not mean that this is over. It doesn't mean that we're not still right for each other. It doesn't mean that he loves me any less or that I love him any less. We're just two different people. He says that all the time. We are two different people. Of course, we're going to have different views on things. Everybody has baggage and issues that we carry from our childhood right up into, past relationships that he's had, that I've had. And that baggage comes with us until we deal with it. So it's just so incredibly unrealistic to think that two people that are not I don't want to say broken, because we're not broken. I don't want you to think that you're broken because you have this baggage from your past. It's just everybody has something that we need to work on when it comes to our mental health. So when you have two people that have different strengths and different weaknesses and different views on things and different ways of handling things and different coping techniques, some coping techniques are good, some coping techniques are not so good. Right? So when the two of us come together, sometimes we don't fit together like a glove. Sometimes we have to figure things out, and he needs to change a little bit and I need to change a little bit, and we meet each other halfway and we figure out how we're going to navigate this new obstacle that we came across. But it's not him against me, and it's not me against him. It's us against the problem. That shift of how we look at the conflict changes the entire way that we deal with disagreements. We've been together for over 10 years. There are still times that come up that we don't see things eye to eye. And that's normal. That is natural. That is to be expected. As you grow older and go through life, and year to year, he changes a little bit, I change a little bit, we grow, we evolve, and life has a way of, throwing wrenches into things, and then we need to figure things out. Having that shift of perspective of when he would say that it's okay that we're having fights. That's normal. So don't think that we are not good together. Don't think that we can't work this out. Don't think that this is the end of the happily ever after. It's not the end. We're still very much at the beginning. Lowering that expectation actually made our relationship so much stronger. Because when we have disagreements, we have that assurance that it's all gonna be okay. It might not feel like it at the time. Most of the time, it definitely does not feel like it's all going to be okay. Massive self-doubt still creeps in for me at times. Massive self-doubt that I am not enough just the way that I am. But time and time again, we still figure things out. Because we've lowered that expectation that we're going to have disagreements sometimes. And that doesn't mean that we're not still living our happily ever after. That's just a part of the happily ever after that doesn't seem to get portrayed in movies and books and shows and all that. Sometimes, yes. But a lot of the time, it's just about the couple getting together, and then, oh, that's the end. Happily ever after. They're riding off into the sunset. How beautiful. But it's not always going to be sunshine and rainbows. Sometimes it's going to rain. Sometimes it's going to rain hard, and there's going to be storms. Two different people. Two different experiences growing up, two different opinions, two different families. And coming from someone that has lived in another country, coming from someone that has been with someone from another culture, it doesn't matter if it's yes, there's definitely more differences when you go cross-culture. But being raised in two different families growing up, even though he's from Alberta and I'm from Alberta, we still find different opinions and different ways of thinking. And conflict is inevitable. Differences do not mean dysfunction. Differences don't mean that we're not still compatible. Differences don't mean that we still don't love each other anyways. Differences don't mean, conflict doesn't mean that we're not still enough. With our friends and our family and our spouses, we will disagree and argue and clash sometimes. Conflict is a part of the connection. It's part of life. It's a part of doing life with others instead of alone. I would encourage you not to run and hide from conflict when it does come up, but just learning how to handle it and catching that self-doubt and feeling that you're not enough and feeling like you're not even worthy. And remember to attack the problem, not the person. Separate the two. We all come with baggage. We all make mistakes. We all carry things with us. But attacking the problem, not the person, is a big, big key factor in all of this. So instead of blaming, instead of criticizing, instead of personal attacks, just try focusing on the issue at hand. Just try communicating as clearly as you can, as calmly as you can. Staying respectful to each other. And if you need to take a pause, me and my husband do this too. When things get too hot, we push pause. If we're not solving the problem in the conversation, as sometimes as hard as it may be at the time to just stop talking to each other because you want to solve the problem, sometimes you need to take a break. Sometimes you both need to step back and just let emotions calm down so that you can come and tackle the problem with a calm and rational mind instead of one that is defensive or offensive. Because we all get a little too hot sometimes. The tempers get the best of us, especially when we're hurting. My principal over when I was in school, he always said, hurt people, hurt people. So when we are hurting, sometimes we say things that we don't mean and that are hurtful. So pushing that pause button can sometimes be a big help. You guys are on the same team, whether you're friends or you're in a romantic relationship. Remembering that you're on the same team even when you disagree. So if you have ever thought, maybe I'm not good enough, maybe this isn't the right relationship, it might not be. Sometimes things don't work out. Sometimes, there's lots of different reasons. But conflict doesn't mean failure. It just means that you're human. There's no such thing as happily ever after in the way that it is sometimes portrayed in movies, where they ride off into the sunset and there are no more problems ever. There is happily ever after, but it comes with storms. It comes with conflicts. It comes with working things out together and learning how to grow together. That's a real happily ever after. It's not about never fighting. It's about learning how to fight well. Thank you for tuning in to Classic Advice, guidance for resilient souls. May you stay anchored in what steadies you, rise resilient through what challenges you, and carry calm into whatever comes next. Take care. Love ya. Bye.